Okay, we're back, and special guest today is our oldest son, Jason Atkinson, former state senator and author and filmmaker. Now, we want to introduce to you an incredible adventure. You've been on this how long? How long have you been working on this movie? Well, okay, we will.
4 years.
4 years? It's been that long? All right, and the actual production of it, and it's now done. It's entitled A River Between Us. Before we play the trailer, set it up.
The largest conservation project in American history.
That's a big statement.
Is a statement that we certainly will back up. Is, you know, it happens to be in Southern Oregon, and nobody knows that, which is okay. So there's a reason why we didn't talk about it out loud for so many years as we did it. But the largest conservation project in American history, the longest water war in American history, the most divisive Western politics west of the Rockies, is all tied up in this story. And the story isn't about dams, and it's not about ag, and it's not about politics. The story is, if you heal people, they'll heal the river. And that is a culture shift of a statement.
All right, let's play this trailer so you can get a feel for it. It's called A River Between Us.
The Klamath River Basin stands to become the largest river restoration project in the United States history. Bigger than the Everglades, bigger than anything we've attempted before.
There are communities hanging on by a thread. We have got to have some stability.
Anybody who's been seriously involved in water issues in this basin has received death threats.
Anyone that could kill and murder hundreds of thousands of fish didn't belong here.
It's neighbor against neighbor that really breaks my heart.
The federal government put them up the river, and they created this whole community based on water, and that's a high desert.
They were not here, neither were the Coho.
Look at the tribal legends.
Oh, screw the tribal legends.
I think that they still see this as a win for the Indians. I think that scares them.
Well, I think there's racism in this country. I think there's racism in the world. I think the Valley is reflective of that.
No more of this red tape. We say it's white tape.
I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or Tea Party or progressive or green. I don't care. Fix this issue.
No one did anything wrong. It's that these decisions all made sense at the time that they were made, but the problem is they overallocated the basin and created bitter disputes.
People don't even think about, what am I living on? Whose back am I living on?
A dozen different ways to make power, but there's only one Klamath River, and there's only one salmon run that God made.
Because you are praying for the wrong thing. You're praying for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You're not praying for the right thing.
I truly believe that when the river is restored, we will see our people heal.
I can't in good conscience go back to that other place. I can't do it.
I really do think that if we can succeed in the Klamath Basin, we can succeed anywhere.
Well, pretty fascinating, and this called The River Between Us. And first of all, when do you expect it to go public and be released?
It will play, and I guess this is the first time it's actually been, the trailer's been on televised, so that's a nice little mark. It should be on theDove. It will be shown as the local feature at the Ashland Independent Film Festival at the end of April, which will be the first time it's shown in Southern Oregon. And we'll probably do a theatrical run after that, surrounding that. We're doing some small screenings around. I was in San Francisco. We're going to do a small one in Portland. And so it'll probably go public in theaters and probably, hopefully, nationally, which is part of the plan, later in the spring. But just if your audience is curious, it's not at the Criterion in a couple of weeks or next week. It's in April, Southern Oregon, which is great.
All right. It started out to be a documentary about the river. Ended up being a unbelievable story about people coming together and seeing. And the term, I don't know if our audience caught it, the largest restoration project in the world. Nothing's been attempted this big. This movie is the catalyst to make that happen. You were changed by making this movie. You interviewed, I don't know how many people, but you interviewed a lot of people, from farmers to ranchers to fishermen to Indian tribes to politicians. I mean, the list went on and on and on. It had a twist for you, didn't it, more than you thought?
Well, you know, we had a couple of issues, and for me, I said the entire time, we're not making something for the region, for Oregon, that's for local. We're making a national story. So make this story matter to someone who takes the subway to work. And I think for the 2.5 years we were actually in production, that we said that every day. So all of the folks, director, all the art directors, director of photography, everybody had a national story in mind. And when you go out on these adventures, it's interesting. One of the things that we did, or was important to me as we wrote, was we want to treat the audience as smart. So many documentaries lead or jade or take the audience somewhere that they're already at. And in order for us to reach somebody that doesn't care about the West, cowboys, Indians, and fish, and takes a subway to work, I very strategically said we're going to make sure that the audience is smart. So we had those heavy things on us, but still there's a journey of discovery. I mean, of course, I know the story, I know all the folks, I know, you know, why I'm interested in this. But it hit us on a very long trip. I think we were out shooting for 8 days, and it was just, you know, the batteries aren't working, and the place where we're supposed to stay wasn't available. And, you know, there's so many variables. And it hit us hard one day that we realized we were seeing people live the Beatitudes. And that was remarkable. And we saw in tests people that we tested it with, and who couldn't find this place on a map, but fell completely in love with the fact that something was happening, that people were being touched. So we had audiences, very urban audiences, reacting, and you know, they'd be crying, and I'd say, "What did you like? Was it I don't know why I like this film so much," you know, and what it was, you know, blessed are those who mourn, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are those. The big one was, blessed are those who show mercy. Mm-hmm. And so you see people who haven't got along, who multi-generationally haven't even liked each other, start to live the Beatitudes. And when we figured out that that was the story, the film grabbed a life of its own.
All right, we have another little trailer, I guess we could say, but it takes what you just mentioned, the Beatitudes, and kind of puts it in a short video form. Let's take a look at that.
When we started the film, I knew we were making a national film. I wanted to make a people film about this notion, if you heal these people, they will heal this river, which in turn is the largest conservation project ever attempted in our history. and with the belief that these people are the very best in America and represent the very best in America. Well, those are pretty high notions. But what I didn't know, starting, that I know now, is that we really made a film about the Beatitudes, and we were watching people live that out. Blessed are the peacemakers, those who mourn, those who show mercy, those who are humble. They start inheriting multi-generational issues, and they heal at the end by playing out the Beatitudes. And when we realized that, we realized we were sitting on something far bigger than a fish movie, far bigger than a river movie, far bigger than something that's in a documentary. We were actually watching people heal.
All right, and we're going to take a quick break. I want to come back because there's definitely a real spiritual thread through all of this. The Beatitude, I think, kind of gives the hint. But in the process of making this movie, you saw that. You saw the walls begin to come down ever so slowly. And they were tested, no question about it. But what could happen if people actually practiced the Beatitudes, and what could happen to a nation, to a region. And I'll have Jason explain that. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.